guys, welcome to another episode of the Real Football Talk. Another one after another final. We had the FA Cup final this weekend where it was the Manchester derby. I think it was Manchester United took on potentially treble-winning Manchester City, who completed the double against the team they could be with along in the history for doing a treble. So, Adi, what did you make of the final? And what did you make of that fantastic start by Gundogan?
yeah, the final was felt quite comfortable for City,
Yeah.
and I mean that start was absolutely unbelievable finish,
I was shocked.
and, it's one of those ones you didn't see it like you just look at De Gea and his reaction, and that is like the perfect reaction to a shot like that. We just watch it sailing, and so much of that brought back memories of Zidane's cup final. You know, just the manner of it,
Against
like
Bayer Leverkusen, yeah.
the way it just goes up and it sits perfectly, and then bang, and no one's got a chance, and you just watch it in. It's what a goal, and
It just had to be him, innit? It had to be Gundogan, innit? Because we've been so elusive about him last week, saying how he's come up with the big moments, and boom, again, it's him, another double.
Yeah, and again, it's you have to give the nod to Pep in the sense that he's given Gundogan more license to go into the forward positions, even as a second striker, and a lot of that is because of the attention that Haaland takes. And Haaland has got such a reputation now that is leaving gaps for players like Gundogan to intelligent players to spot the gaps and kind of punish teams. But the quality of both his goals, I mean, technique wise, even the second one with his left foot, the technique on that is just unbelievable. And both goals, he done it in the hardest way possible, lacing it,
Yeah.
getting right over the ball, outside of the boot. It's like,
Second one
can you?
is a bit more scruffy, but you take it.
It's harder, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
harder in the sense that it's on
Came
his
longer
weaker
way,
foot.
isn't it? Longer distance.
Yeah, the weaker foot, and it wasn't looped up as much, so harder to get the timing, but still absolute quality, the technique and the connection, and just the understanding of how to control those type of shots.
But would you say poor keeping De Gea? Because I felt he should have saved that.
I think it's easy to say but when you look at the positioning of the defenders, um, you know, he stays a bit more to the middle because that's the only way he can see the shot. So between defense and keeper, yeah, they should have
I
done
tell you
that.
what, the reason I thought because of the amount of hand he
Varane
got to the ball.
doesn't glory either. I
Sorry?
think Varane had. I don't think Varane covers himself in glory
No.
either. I mean, he had enough time to close that shot and put more pressure as he's traveling rather than standing and trying to block it in his spot. So yeah, it's between both play a part in that, but obviously you do hope De Gea would save that shot, but it just shows he's not at the peak of his powers anymore. He is 32 and he's not as quick and sharp at getting across.
Yeah, no. I just thought because of how much he managed to get his hand on the ball, I thought what, he should have been able to push that way, but yeah, maybe because he was unsighted, like you said, right? But in terms of obviously United, I mean, what do you make of them? Because
Not much really. It's what we've known, which is they have moments, but they struggle to dominate games, and they showed the right character. They showed everything that you'd want. Maybe was surprised how poor the press in the high press was. Normally this season, especially against City, it's been a lot better. So this was a game that they didn't quite do it, but I think there's a there is a big difference in fitness between the two teams, and effectively that lineup had 2 weeks off, so you could see the freshness. I mean, they started both halves utterly dominant. Obviously, the goal gives you a lot more control on the tactical side of things, and but United, yeah, I mean they've done what they've done every game, which is or most games I should say, which is they workmanlike, they try, they're always trying to score goals, and yeah, but you could see the gulf in difference in class between the two teams with the between the level of players and the fitness, and yeah, they tried making a game of it, but it always felt like City were playing within themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like they were just going through the motion, to save their leg for maybe next Saturday, rather than anything else. That's what it felt like towards in the second half. But Garnacho did look good though when he came on. He was the only one kind of taking it to them a bit more. That was I felt that was better.
Yeah, and that's and the thing is, he's had big moments, but a lot of them haven't been against the big teams. This is the first time I felt like he was terrorizing, really good defenders and really good defense. He's got goals and thingy, but they've been against the mid-table a lot. This one was the first time, he absolutely shredded Walker multiple
Walker,
times,
yeah,
causing problems. So yeah, that was a bright spark, but again, it took what 70 minutes before they brought him on. It's quite late. The game was crying out to take chances, and it's another game where Sancho flattered to deceive, and you can see that Ten Hag has made him like his project, and he really wants to get his potential out because we all know what a quality player he is, and
yeah, yeah.
if he is a Ten Hag type of player. But right now, just in the big games, you just don't see it enough. I mean, his form has improved slightly, but again, just it just feels like we're always leaving him on longer than he deserves just to keep his confidence going. But Garnacho definitely deserved to come on earlier, and yeah, towards the end, those gun-hole tactics, you know, should have done it a bit earlier because that's the only time City were under a bit of pressure.
Yeah, yeah. But with regards to City, I mean, and their season, obviously that was their what second trophy done, potentially third coming up on Saturday in the Champions League. I mean, what do you make of their season so far? Because Premier League, obviously, they sealed a couple of weeks back. Now done the double. They're having, I mean, phenomenal season, if you say.
Yeah, and it's a real transformation because we weren't saying this before November. First 6 weeks, 8 weeks into the season, uh, they didn't look anywhere near this form or this level, and everyone was questioning, them, and now you're just seeing how much the transformation has been and how what a good team they are, and yeah, I mean, they probably got as easy a final as you can get. I mean, Inter Milan. I don't know if that changes things because they're going to be such heavy favorites, but it seems like
It's there. It's written for them, isn't it? Come on.
there is every challenge. I just can't see how Inter Milan can cause this team problems
Yeah,
physically,
yeah.
the tempo wise. So it'll be definitely a very one sided final,
Let's
and
let's just hope Pep doesn't do a Pepe.
no, I think now he's learned and he's got players where they're at such peak form that they kind of know what they're doing. So I think he can't also overthink it anymore because of the players he's got. He's got Haaland and he can't really go into this false line with Haaland. I think
No.
signing Haaland isn't just really good for the goals. It's really good for Pep because he can't think as much because every time he tinkered in his final, it
He's
always
messed it
involved
up.
a false nine. It always involved going to a false nine system. and whether it's three at the back, four at the back, or whatever, but he always still involved a false nine system.
Yeah, yeah.
Can't do that with Haaland. So tinkering is stopped just by having the flair of Haaland's caliber. So yeah, Haaland not only has he scored the goals, he's helped Pep stick to the basics a
I
bit
mean,
more.
we did call at the beginning of the season that, you know what, Haaland's going to be the difference for City winning the Champions League potentially, and it might be, it might be it, you know?
Yeah, but in different ways.
Yeah.
He hasn't really been scored much in the running as
No,
much
no.
as anyone thought. But he's still creating.
I
I mean, Gundogan's having so much space and freedom is because of how much Haaland is
yeah,
occupying
yeah.
windows. So he's still as influential with that
No, but that's
scoring.
that's what I was gonna say. Even though in the last six, I think he scored one, but he's still influencing because he's still got an assist the other day. But he's still bringing people into play, and because of the runs and his power to bring that ball down and play off to Gundogan and De Bruyne, they're getting goals from elsewhere.
Yeah, and he has had chances in all those games. He's missed
Yeah,
some really good chances. So
he's saving it. He's saving it probably.
I mean, good old Italian defending. Good luck to that. I'm sure he's gonna be his share, and he's gonna be grabbed a lot and have a lot of tussles.
But he's one of those that will relish those moments, isn't it? He likes that sort of stuff, so he'll relish that.
Well, yeah, he does get frustrated and he does getting pumped. So
Yeah,
let's see. I
let's see.
mean, it's going to be a good final, but it does seem like, and when you look at the consistency and what Pep is producing and how much more better this team is, they deserve a treble. They deserve to be up there with the United's. You know, Probably doesn't feel as dramatic. It seems all a bit, a walk in
Yeah,
the
but
park.
that's credit to them though. I would
Yeah,
say that's credit to them because of the way
it
they made it.
is, but it also makes it slightly less memorable in the sense that the United one always had a late goal or some crazy drama going on that. They're memorable moments. And yeah, I suppose the Gundogan finish is a memorable moment that we'll remember. So that I suppose
Yeah,
definitely that's a highlight. But they did, a few more moments like that just to seal an amazing treble would be good.
yeah. I
It's just
mean,
frustrating because they're doing it so
listen,
easily.
I wouldn't rule out that. Well, I mean, there had to be Madrid and so on and so forth. So it wasn't really plain sailing.
But
So
you look at it,
yeah,
last 10 games, how much are we really saying it's been about Haaland and De Bruyne?
yeah.
It hasn't.
No, no, it hasn't.
Hasn't. The best two players are probably slightly off form. Not majorly, but they're not the ones carrying this title through.
But you know, this is the thing.
Like
I think this is
Stones and Walker Sunny is
yeah.
playing everything again, and
No,
we
but
got
Adu,
Rivers,
this is the key thing. Like
Aaron,
it feels like
and
everyone's taking different moments from different moments in the season. Like you had Mahrez towards I think around January time he was ripping it up and smashing it. Then it was the Haaland again, and then it was De Bruyne for a couple of weeks. Then now like with Gundogan, and then like in Stones and Kai Walker with the Real Madrid stuff. All of a sudden like there's different players taking those moments and limelight.
yeah, and that's all down to good management of Pep. That he's kept people fresh, kept people mentally ready for the moment.
Mm.
At different times, different players have really risen up and stood up, and earlier on, Nathan Ake I thought was phenomenal, but
It was,
recently,
yeah,
recently Akanji has been just amazing, and yeah, it's
spot
it's
on.
definitely been one player I would say has been standout throughout the whole season, and I've been really impressed with, and would definitely be my team of the year when we do it. Is Rodri. For me, he's been amazing the whole season.
I think
And
he goes under the radar because of the way he does stuff, right?
he really
even
has been performing
even
good.
even yesterday, there was a moment where he made two tackles. First one to, obviously, I think Garnacho was running through. He makes the first tackle. He kind of gets deflected, goes wide, and then United coming in again, and then he reads that situation again, and boom, goes and cuts it out. Goes like it's you're like, this guy is just next level. He just reads everything, innit?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
potentially what could have been a real threat, he just cleaned everything up.
yeah, and
Under pressure. Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. But let's move to the other side. I mean, United. What do you make of their season? Champions League, third place. It's not called Carling Cup anymore. It's uh, Capital One's Cup. I don't know what's it called.
Carabao Cup.
Is it Carabao Cup? Sorry, yeah, Carabao Cup. League Cup. There you go, League Cup. Yeah,
Yeah,
League Cup, a trophy in the bag. What do you make of their season and Eric Ten Hag's first season in charge?
yeah, they've overachieved in my opinion. Ultimately, um, there's progress in every area, and when you look at the issues they've had all season, they've overcome it.
Mm,
They've done really well to extract as much as they have done that the season. So yeah, definitely a season of progress, which leads to a lot of hope and optimism because
mm,
you know it seems like Ten Hag knows what he's doing, and I do think um, the more he gets to mold that squad, the more he's gonna be able to close the gap.
mm. Overachieved in what sense? I do. Sorry, I'm trying to understand. As in terms of winning that trophy, or
In what they've achieved the whole season. I mean, winning a trophy. Um, this is first season at the end of the day. They're not all his players. He's got a lot of sum of parts that aren't that good,
mm,
and he's got a tune out of everyone. He's got everyone playing or rebuilt their confidence. So I think he's overachieved in winning a trophy. He's overachieved in with getting third place. He's overachieved getting into final of FA Cup, quarterfinals of Europa. I think it's a season that he's overachieved, and yeah, there's many moments where they completely got absolutely thrashed, but that also shows how much Ten Hag has the squad united, how much he's got them mentally stronger to overcome that.
mm,
So I just think, yeah, if he's able to do that, and they're never really convinced totally playing the brand of football he wants, then when he does get to properly mold that squad, it's gonna be it's gonna be really good because you
mm.
can see the signs are there that they're gonna keep progressing and they're gonna keep improving under this manager.
How many more windows do you reckon they will need for to fulfill what he wants to do? Obviously it's been
Well, definitely a couple more because
yeah.
there's a lot of players he's getting rid of. A lot of players he's moving on. So
Mm,
by summer of 2024 won't be enough because you're not gonna do wholesale clear out and wholesale getting of players the way Chelsea have done.
unless the Qataris take over, I do.
Even if the Qatari take over, I don't think if Ten Hag is the manager, he won't be the type of manager that will be dictated to. He will still control how things are done within the club.
Mm, mm. Yeah, no, I mean overall really really good because I mean I think did we both have them as Champions League sport at the beginning of the season? I
I
don't remember.
don't think you did. I
I
don't
think
remember.
no, I think
Yeah,
you did. I think
I definitely did.
you had them in, yeah,
I had
yeah.
them in third.
I think
So,
you had them in top four. I had them in fifth place, I think. So
so yeah.
yeah, there you go. Can't remember fully, but yeah.
But I'm sure you had Arsenal in yours and I didn't in mine. So
Sorry?
I'm sure you had Arsenal in yours and I didn't have it in mine. So
Don't worry. It's a prediction, right? So hey,
yeah,
you can't get them all right.
yeah.
Um else I'd be a millionaire. No, joke, no betting allowed. But yeah, talking of Arsenal, what do you make of their season? Uh, for me, I think they done fantastically well, as well as they fell out at the end, but still for me, it's a progress from what we expected last year. Most people would have probably not even put us in the top four, like you said, right? But second place, massive improvement, closed the gap on the top teams because that was a major issue for us in terms of competing and challenging those big teams in away games or home games, not winning them. I think on that like top six tables, I think we're at the top or second, I think behind City. So in every aspect, I think we've closed that gap. So it's a massive improvement. But again, the downer is the fact of how we fell away again.
Well, I just think no one saw this coming from Arsenal.
Mm.
No one, not even the most optimistic Arsenal fan saw what they were going to produce this year. Even the football is completely not, because it's not what we saw under Arteta before. Is you
No.
know,
We
so
seen glimpse of it because, but then they went back to that defensive
yeah.
second half, isn't it?
But that Arsenal have had a huge season. They've served notice. Uh, yeah, we're now starting to see the fruition of the transformation and the building that some of these clubs have been doing. Certainly in terms of Arsenal, because they've stuck to the manager, and even with Man United, you've seen the building of because even before Ten Hag came, you could see that they had already made a choice to move on from the Pogba's and a whole load of players and Matic and whatnot. So their project had already started, um, slightly under Oli already. Um, so you're starting to see the fruition of that, and some of the others are now starting their rebuild.
Mm.
And the only one who seems to be doing it efficiently is Man City. So, they're doing it as they win. I mean, the best example is the way potentially they're replacing Gundogan with Kovacic, and you just think,
Yeah,
wow, quality for quality, like for like. They're just smooth operators, and that's why they have continued success.
mm.
And yes, I mean we'll touch on it when it comes to Liverpool and everyone, but
Yeah,
no one's quite on the efficient level of City, and it seems that Arsenal are going to be that team that will do things similarly without the cash, because they've look, no one's really talking about Modric, but he was clearly their number one
yeah, it
January.
was. Yeah,
They went to their Trossard at the end, and it's worked out. I mean, yeah, they might not have done a title push the way they want, but for those players, that's the first time they've been going for a league title. So that'll definitely help them. I think Arteta is the right type of manager to potentially harness that out of them, and push them on next season. And yeah, you just feel like the way they sign players, no, not too many big names, all guys who are hardworking, proven. The established players are all from winning teams.
yeah.
You can see the model that they're going to.
Or
So
they fit the system that he's trying to play. At the very not just anyone that's like out there.
yeah, so that is very much the way Man City operate. So I see them as a force to be reckoned with now. They've got their house in order, and yeah, they it's going to be very difficult for those teams to who are outside the Champions League places to really catch up, because
Yeah,
unless they're willing to overpay for players and overpay for wages, um, you know, City, Newcastle, Arsenal, and Man United are all ahead in terms of their project. So
yeah.
and their rebuild. So you can see the stability that's there.
Mm.
You look,
But also another good thing I would say they've done is like even like getting getting the young players that we have already signed and tied down to a like long-term contract. Like they got Saka done, Ramsdale done, Odegaard's on the go, Saliba's on the go, Martinelli done as well. So it's something that they haven't done before, where they left it until like when there's 2 years left or 1 year left, and then players run down the contract. So it seems like obviously on that phase they've improved as well. So it's good for the future.
Yeah, well, I think a lot does depend on getting this Saliba deal done because um, didn't even though he's had a good and solid season, I didn't anticipate how important he was to the team
Mm,
until he got injured in the running and how much it affected their confidence. So I think, yeah, Arsenal are going to, continue to improve, continue to reshape the squad. And I think, yeah, they will be a force to be reckoned with for the coming seasons. You can
mm,
see
yeah.
that identity and in their vision, their ethos is all in one. And even a good example of that is Kiwior. I mean, he once he adapted, he was quite well. He was better than Plain Holding in that position,
Yeah.
and Kiwior came back into the team. The team's fortune changed again. So it just shows that if their number one choice ain't available, they are comfortable to go and pluck players out from their scouting, from good scouting and unheralded players, and ultimately those players do a better job than the ones that are already there.
And that's the key thing. I think it depends on the summer and some of the recruitments they get done. I think if they want to challenge next year, because obviously you'll have the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham all back in there firing a bit more. You'll have Liverpool, Man United definitely going to improve. Newcastle's going to invest. So if they want to stay up there, I mean, Arsenal need to make sure that they buy well and buy the right type of players that's going to fit into the system for them to still stay up there and challenge.
Yeah, it's like we said, there's a legit top seven, top eight now in the
Yeah.
Prem. Top eight, you could say, because you have to put Aston Villa up there because they've got a huge wage bill and they're paying the big bucks.
Mm.
So
But yeah, let's move to. I mean, Newcastle. I mean, none of us would have predicted them in that top four, but they've done it, and Eddie Howe's done a magnificent job of getting them there. We thought he could have they could have potentially dropped off when the pressure got to them, but they saw it through. What do you make of their season? Because I think they've been absolutely brilliant
I,
and best defense in the league. I think it was.
yeah, I think in terms of dropping off, I mean that all depended on Tottenham maintaining their form, which they did it at the time. So I think, yeah, it was always going to be too much for Liverpool to catch up. But yeah, a phenomenal season. I do think they're the fittest team in the league. I think they rely on their energy and pressing more than any other team. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how well they do next season with the amount of volume of games that they have.
They have to invest. They have to invest in that squad and strengthen that depth. They have to if they want to.
Yeah, even if they do, I mean, there'll be a drop off in quality at the end of the day. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see that, and it's going to be interesting to see how Eddie how juggles
Yeah.
European football, for the first time. So, yeah, excellent season. Really like the signings. Really like Isaac. So he looks like a really good player, obviously, and yeah, it's the type of players they're getting in, or the development of the players that are already there. Uh, yeah, phenomenal season.
Yeah, no, definitely. Definitely probably one of the teams of the season considering what they've done. Because none of us would have had them anywhere near there. So
Yeah, and losing in a cup final is progress for them.
exactly. Yeah.
The final of
Get
the
that.
League Cup is still progress.
Mm, no, definitely, 100%. Next, I mean, let's go to Liverpool. I mean, we all put them as challengers with Man City at the beginning of the season, and obviously Klopp told us to book the ticket to Istanbul, I think it was. But yeah, they just completely fell off. What's your verdict on them?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we were praising them a few seasons before that because of how well they bought, how well they were addressing the needs of the team, and then
And how efficient they were in the transfer
yeah,
business. Yeah.
and then it's like they got rid of that team that was doing so well, and it looks like Klopp has more control and power and say over things.
Well, now Edwards is going as well, I think. I think is it Edwards?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's already gone. I think he's
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
gone. So there's, it's Ward, Julian Ward's now left.
Yeah. He's sorry, Julian Ward. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so Edwards left last year. So I think, yeah, it's become more, German, and it's become more controlled for Klopp, and he's got more his people. But um, the results you can see is that those changes have meant they have not really progress the squad as much as they need. They didn't address the areas that they did, and why? Because they're too busy trying to make money out of players that they're trying to sell rather than move them on. I mean, you know, to think they're letting Naby Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain go for free instead of just selling them and accepting that they're not going to renew a contract.
Yeah.
uh, has cost them, and ultimately cost them a top four place and cost them money in transfers. So yeah, definitely the transfer dealings haven't worked out well, and they haven't handled it well, and that's cost them this year because
Yep.
of Klopp obviously identified the same thing by bringing in all the young players into the lineup, like
Mm.
Jones, like Baxitic, and Elliot, Harvey Elliott. So that also points to the fact that their recruitment was up to standards, and they have this, okay. In one hand, you can see the investment they've made on the forward line, and they seem to have transitioned that now. And, even once Salah leaves, this they've probably got most of the players in the setup, but they haven't planned well for the strengthening of the defense or midfield.
Mm.
Uh,
But I mean, but he probably would have had still though Jones and Harvey Elliott already in because Harvey Elliott played at the beginning of the season. Jones was obviously injured, that's why he wasn't available. But Bajcetic is the one that obviously came in because they were struggling with Fabinho and the legs in the midfield.
Yeah, but I think the Harvey Elliott was more of a tactical change that they moved away from after a while, but came back to once they had a bit more confidence. Again, I just think, saying I definitely don't think the Konate signing has worked. He does not look to me like a good defender. I
Mm.
didn't think he was a good defender even while playing for France. Even though he had a couple of big moments where he was good and you could see his pace and strength, he just seems like a player with lots of mistakes and switches off a lot.
Mm.
So, and we've seen Van Dijk is on a downward spiral. I mean, talk about a player who absolutely excelled for one season and then has been
Yeah.
you
It,
know,
I
way
mean, is
below.
there a cause for concern for next season for Klopp and Liverpool, or do you reckon he'll get them going again next season?
I think, I mean, they'll be in with a shout of the top four, but I do think there is cause for concern because of the fact that they're a team that needs Champions League money. They don't have that, and the fact that I do think the run towards fifth spot may cover up the flaws that they have in their team in their squad.
Mm.
Uh, because when you watch those games, they still are giving up huge chances. Of, the amount that Allison is keeping them
Listen,
in
I
defending is still uh, worrisome. So
yeah. Mm.
I do
No,
think problems.
no, what I was gonna say, obviously they're heavily linked with the McAllister. I think personal terms, everything's agreed. It's just about agreeing the fee with Brighton. But yeah, as much as McAllister is going to solve the midfield problems, there's still massive question mark with their defending and obviously with Trent and the backline they have because whether you like it or not, like you said, Van Dijk is aging, Konate hasn't impressed too much, Um, Trent is as brilliant as he is going forward, is as worse in defending, and Robertson obviously again he hasn't found that form that he has for the last couple of years.
Yep, and that's the thing is McAllister was so a a desire that Klopp has had, which is he's wanted a playmaking, deep line playmaker
Yeah.
in midfield for many years, and the Thiago project hasn't probably quite worked out as well as he would have liked, but he's been wanting that type of player for a good few seasons
Mm,
and not being able to address it really. So he'll address that, having that player who can control the tempo a bit better, which we know is a flaw of Liverpool. They
mm.
only had to go 100 miles per hour. They always only have to keep attacking, bringing in players like McAllister will bring a bit more of a slower tempo, a bit more of game management into the lineup. So
That
I
might help the defense as well, maybe.
yeah, that's definitely a positive that will help. But again, they need a lot of players, and I think they're going to spend on that midfield, but they also need to get rid of players to
Mm,
help it. So yeah, it's going to be a season where they'll definitely improve, but I still don't think they're suddenly magically going to become the Liverpool that's going to challenge City.
mm. Well, but I will say if anyone can do it, it's Klopp because you know what, he's that special of a manager. So he could, if he gets the right couple of players in, he can get a tune out of them. So that I will definitely say.
I think the league is much better now than it was before, though.
Funny.
I think you get away with defending the way he sets up his team to
Yeah.
defend as much now. You know, like I said, a lot of teams were in the rebuild. A lot of teams had players that didn't fit their system or were off form. You know, now these teams are getting players that fit their system, and you can't get away with the defensive lapses
No,
as
no.
easily. So unless he changes his identity or finds a way of coaching, had the team had to the defenders had to defend better that high line. I do still think it's going to be an inconsistent season, if
Mm,
not better than
yeah.
this.
No, definitely. Let's move to Spurs. Sorry, my eyes are burning. I've got a hay fever problem. Um, let's move to Tottenham, who I mean obviously looked great under Conte last year. The way they finished, we all predicting for them to obviously potentially challenge Man City this year, but they just fell off massively. Towards the end, it was almost embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I predicted that, but I think I wasn't convinced by them getting into top four. I thought other teams choked more than they won it because they were still inconsistent all the way up until
Mm,
last season, but they're just slightly better than everyone else. So they were lucky to get into Champions League last season. This season, the mindset of the club really showed because Conte wasn't happy with the summer recruitment, wasn't happy and not being supported or backed the way he would have liked. They wasted money on players he didn't want, like Jed Spence. So, yeah, again, that harmony and that trust and that link that the current top four teams have. Um, we've already said Liverpool never had it. Now we're seeing how it's affected Tottenham
mm,
and know how it's affected Chelsea. So it just shows how much having that unified vision and approach and working together makes such a big difference within a club, especially
mm.
putting all the teams on this. The most important two teams are the recruitment team and the managing, the coaching teams. And Tottenham, like Liverpool, didn't quite do it right.
Yeah, but I
Not
mean
the problem.
they're out of European competitions. I think unless they made the Europe Conference League, I'm not sure. As
But
far as I'm aware, they haven't.
they haven't.
Because I think Aston Villa did, didn't they? And obviously now they are linked with the Celtic manager and
But
Postecoglou.
Postecoglou, yeah.
Sorry, difficult name. linked with him to replace obviously Conte, who's been gone for a while. What do you make of that? And obviously, it seems like they've gone through heaps of different managers that they were trying to speak to, like Enrique, Nagelsmann, Arne Slot, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, they're going for a manager that's good manager, but I just don't see how he can make the difference with the type of managers he's coming up against, the type of you know finances that he's going to come up against. Bottom line is the problem to their season wasn't the manager, wasn't Conte. It was their recruitment. It was Paratici and Levy. Ultimately, they have a different vision for the
Conte.
yeah, and that's the problem. And fine, they're now going for managers that might fit that vision, but it's still a project. It's
Well,
not,
Perisic is gone, so he's out
yeah,
the window. So
but so that's probably a worse thing for anyone because at least Paratici was getting quality players in. You can't you can't say Bentancur or Kulusevski or even Richarlison were
well,
good players.
Kulevski apparently. This is what I mean about Daniel Levy and Tottenham, man. They're saying they're not gonna go for that, the loan figure that they've already had agreed as an
But to
optional
book
for
it down,
35 million. Now they want it for 24 million euros. So I'm just like laughing. These guys are it's just too much.
so at the end of the day, but they were good players. They were good signing. Even you could see with Langley, you could see the pedigree. All right, he hasn't been great, he hasn't
It's
stood
been
out for me
awful.
a bit, but he was playing quite well for Barcelona when he was fit.
Yeah.
You can see some of the signings were good, and the project signings that Levy sanctioned are the ones where the problems have been.
Mm.
So at least I would say the one good thing is they're going for the type of manager that will fit what they're trying to do at the
Their
club.
ambition. Yeah, their ambition.
Yeah, it's like I said, it just shows their ambition isn't to win.
Pretty
It's to
football, be
profit.
around, be around like the top eight, and yeah. Listen, I'm having the time of my life. Oh
Yeah,
man.
yeah. But
Sorry, sorry.
like
Sorry
I
to talk
said,
about that.
I think
Can't
yeah,
help it.
I gotta say they got a long way to go. I mean, they still haven't got their manager in place. So while that takes long, you just see it. It's just a club
It's a
that's
mess. It's a mess.
everything's about saving money.
It's a mess.
They just don't have that edge of doing things in a way. Like you can even tell Conte, the only reason they stuck with Conte was so they do it in a way where there's less of a payout. You
Mm,
know, everything is done with penny pinching at the forefront of their mind, and I just can't see a club making the gap that's needed to win
yeah.
trophies with the
No,
type of
definitely.
manager.
Definitely. What about I mean Chelsea? I mean, another club, complete disarray again, awful season, gone through what, three managers this season. And each managers have just outdone the other one in terms of how the team performed. Like, because obviously you had Tuchel, they were quite high up. Then Graham Potter came in, got them to 10th place, and then you got Lampard trying to take him to battling for relegation. What did you make of them?
Yeah, they finished what 12th behind Crystal Palace.
I think they finished 12 out.
I
Listen,
just want to put that in there because you questioned that when I said it. But
didn't question it. I'm just saying it's just a bit ridiculous, isn't it? Saying that Chelsea will finish 12th. Come on. Yeah, they
so
finished 12th.
that,
Yeah.
that's how much confidence I had in Lampard. I called it straight away before get ball got kicked under
Oh
them.
man. Yeah, they finished 12th, I believe. They finished
Um,
12th.
so yeah, I mean, we know again the same similarity, which is the owner doing his own thing, running it like it's some computer game club, and yeah, they've suffered, and I feel sorry for a lot of the players that have gone there because what is the project? I mean, we saw Enzo Fernandez at the World Cup. You tell me one thing he's done in the Premiership that's memorable, or
Mm.
what thing I'm talking about. I can't remember even one performance where he's really, yeah, you can tell he's better than the rest. Or he's okay, he's a good player, but
Yeah,
what was it? They paid 108 million or something?
113 million.
Yeah, I mean, come on. He just does not hasn't stood out anything like that. And he will he will struggle to with the crowd setup.
Yeah.
At least with them, at least with them, they've got the manager now,
That's what I was
and
gonna say. Poch is in. What do you make of that?
Poch we know is a good manager. He'll organize the club. He'll get the players on board. Um, but it's not. This is Chelsea. It's not Tottenham. It's not. Look at what happened at PSG. Now you tell me, Hassan. I ask you one question. The first thing that comes out, which Premiership club is the most similar to PSG? What are you gonna say?
Yeah, Chelsea.
Ta-da! And where has he gone into? He's gone into a club where the owners like to get involved, the chief execs who like to call the shots, you know. So, listen, he is an exceptional manager, but he likes control. He likes to be in charge. He likes to be close to the players.
Mm.
So, how is he going to do that when he's got the owner walking into the changing room after every home game?
Yeah.
It's like, so I do feel for Poch. He is definitely a really good manager. He's going to improve them.
Well,
But
listen, they've
can
already
he
linked with
really, are we going to see the best Poch when in a club like Chelsea? I'm not sure.
they're
Um,
already linked with Manuel Ugarte from Sporting. Apparently, that's advanced. Um, so yeah,
yeah, I mean,
Kovacic is
good,
going.
good signing, and I know Ugarte's stats for pressing and winning the ball and distance covered is crazy.
Crazy,
So
yeah.
they're definitely, getting players, but at the end of the day, they're losing some huge players too. They're losing Kante, looks like Mason
But
Mount,
Kante is staying. Kante is staying. Mount might be going, and then Kovacic is going.
Kovacic. So I think, look, they're losing players that had the identity, understood the identity of the club and the mentality of the club, and I just think, fine, maybe a Poch can, work easier with not having those players around, but I just think like Chelsea's all about winning. Their fans is all about winning now. They're not about building a projects, and it'll be interesting to see if Poch gets under pressure if they start to
Yeah,
bad run.
especially if I think if they don't sign a striker, I think they might really struggle for goals as well. And if they're struggling for goals, obviously in the
They'll have
Premier League,
Lukaku
you
back.
know enough teams going to score goals, and it's going to cause you issues, and how long he stays in there.
Well, they'll have Lukaku back no matter what. So
Well, I mean, Inter won him back. He doesn't really want to come back to Chelsea, so there you go.
yeah, but all players are like that. But at the end of the day, once they see the money, they suddenly forget what they're moaning about. So let's see. Like I said, Poch is a good manager. He'll identify good players. He'll have them playing decent football. He'll have them organized.
Yeah,
It's whether he can handle the pressure of that job. It's a bit like PSG. The manager does get undermined in that club.
yeah.
And
It's an interesting one to watch out for. I mean, even the whole transfer window for the Premier League this season is an interesting one to keep an eye out for because there's going to be a hell of a lot of money being spent by all the clubs. And I mean,
well,
other
all the
clubs,
Premier
other international clubs must be like, yes, who do you want to buy and how much for? Um,
Yeah,
so
and that's the thing. I think the way it's going, the money that's in the Premiership, the Prem at this rate could easily
break all
usurp the.
records.
No, but it can in terms of its prestige and quality. I can see it overtaking the Champions League for that because you think about it already. Look at the caliber of managers that is in the Premiership. Now you're starting to see all these clubs getting smarter with the recruitment, smarter with the signing of players. So then, even on the second tier level, you got already a whole load of world class managers. Even on the second tier, the best up and coming managers are now in the
Mm,
Premiership.
mm,
You know,
mm.
you look at the Deserbies and so Arnold Slot they were going for. So Ang Postecoglou, I don't know if he's on that level, but what he's done at Celtic can't be questioned. So even the level underneath that is now coming to the Prem. So with the amount of money, it could end up being to if
Listen,
you want to
Adi,
watch quality,
Adibai,
it's only in
yeah,
the Prem.
quality competitive football, and one that you'll definitely enjoy is definitely the Premier League. But even like you can potentially see the top six even make like from their buys, they can buy a billion pound worth of players this window. You can see it because you can easily see United spending more than 200. You can see Arsenal spending that. You can see Chelsea again going again. Man United definitely going to spend. Man City getting Kovacic and so on and so forth. They're going to spend, and Liverpool are going to spend as well. So yeah, crazy, crazy, crazy summer ahead. I'm looking forward to it. Those are
You
some.
deliberately missed that Tottenham from that one, but yeah.
Listen,
Even look, I'll even put my money. Even Aston Villa and West Ham are going to spend.
small club mentality, small club Daniel David mentality. But I
Even
do
West Ham spend.
thank you for joining today. For those who are watching, thank you for watching. We'll also do some more videos on the lower end of the table in terms of the teams that have gone down and also the teams that are coming up as well. So do keep an eye out for that video. Thank you for watching.